Hi, church. As I've been talking to people lately, one of the things that has struck me is that people seem to be bearing heavy burdens. There's a lot going on in the world. There's a lot going on in the world, the big world, and there's a lot going on in people's personal lives. And all of that seems to be exacerbated by the isolation that many people are feeling. So I want to share with you one verse from Galatians chapter 6, verse 2, that I think helps us know how we can help one another during this time. It just says this: bear one another's burdens and thereby fulfill the law of Christ. Bear one another's burdens and thereby fulfill the law of Christ. Bear one another's burdens. Well, what does that mean? That means that we come alongside and that we lift one another up, or help lift the loads that one another are carrying. And one thing that implies is that there has to be some sort of proximity. If not actual physical proximity, there has to be a proximity of spirit, a proximity of conversation. There has to be a proximity of care. In some way, we have to be involved in one another's lives, or we're not even going to know that there are burdens that need to be borne. It also implies a certain amount of that we reveal ourselves to others, that we are transparent with others, that we make ourselves vulnerable to others by sharing our burdens. You know, we don't have the luxury of, or perhaps the curse at times, of reading one another's minds. And so we have to rely on each other to be willing to share. I think it means also to do the things that you can. If you know that somebody is carrying a burden and you can step in and do a tangible act that will help lift that burden, then that's what we're called to do here. And Paul goes on to finish this verse by saying that thereby we fulfill the law of Christ. And what is that law? I think it's simply the answer that Jesus gave to the question of what is the greatest commandment. And he said it's to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love your neighbor as yourself. And as we bear one another's burdens, as we come alongside one another, as we do those tangible things that we can do, as we lift one another up in prayer, we are demonstrating both our love for God and our love for one another. So let's pray today to have God's eyes to see those who are weighed down, to have God's ears to listen to the words that are being said and the meaning behind the words, and God's hands and feet to meet the needs of one another so that we can fulfill the law of Christ and bear one another's burdens.